All right, so the deconstructed lasagna. This is maybe the most important technique that I could teach you. I'm bringing this up because last week I did a group manifestation hypnosis session on this big sound system. And after we had a little Q&A, and this was at the Mokana exhibits at Corner House here in Bangkok. And we had this Q&A, and someone asked me,
obviously we all have limiting beliefs, and the majority of us also have goals that we want to reach. So is there like things that we can do on a daily basis that can help us improve our belief system?
I'll share with you the rest of that clip at the end, so you can see what I said, but I've given this some more thought, and I have what I think is an actual better technique. This is what I actually do every single day. I'll show you how to do it. I'll actually do it with you. So what I would like you to understand is that everything you experience consists of a number of components. So right now, as you're watching this video, you're seeing the video, so there's visual information coming through your eyes, and your brain processes this visual data and kind of creates a picture of what you see, right? You're also hearing my voice, you're hearing perhaps other sounds in the environment, your ears are bringing in auditory data that your brain then processes, and you understand it as the words that I'm speaking and the meanings behind them, and so on and so forth. So there's other senses. You can like feel your butt against the seat. You can I can feel the warmth of the sunlight coming through the window. I could feel the wind, things like this. So there's physical sensations, yes? So we got visual, we got auditory, we got kinesthetic, like feeling, we got emotional data, and perhaps even smell. So you got all this sensory information. Maybe you're eating something, so there's maybe taste. You got all this sensory data, right? That's what's going on in any given moment. Behind all of that, you have the one who's experiencing all of that. So you're seeing the video, but there's also the one who is aware of seeing the video. You might notice a sensation in your body, but then, like, how do you know? How do you know there's a sensation in your body? Because you're aware of it. So that's really kind of the center of it all, is the awareness itself. You have this sort of screen of awareness, and then there are appearances, objects that your awareness is aware of, yes? So these are kind of the components. And this is what's happening every minute of your day. Is there's senses. Your senses are bringing in information, and then you're processing that information, and that's just what you're experiencing all the time in all sorts of different ways, right? Different shapes and sizes, all kinds of flavors, right? So just notice what's going on right now. And could you isolate your focus to only notice the visual data? So you tune out the sounds, and you just become aware of the visual data that you're aware of at this moment. And then maybe close your eyes and become aware of the sounds. And as I'm doing that, I'm hearing birds. I'm hearing the sound of like engines, like traffic in the distance. I'm hearing the sound of my air conditioner. I'm of course hearing the sound of my own voice. You isolate the sounds, yeah? So each moment, it's like we usually take it all in as one package, right? So it's kind of like let's say you're eating a lasagna, right? You got all these layers in the lasagna. You know, you got the ragu, you got the pasta sheets, you got the bechamel sauce, you got the cheese, all these things. Like you got these layers. But maybe you've seen some of these fancy pants chefs. They like to make deconstructed things. if you ever watched that show, Chef's Table, I believe it was the first episode where there was this Italian chef who made it was like a deconstructed lasagna. So he had only the crispy corner, and it was only like that crispy bit of the lasagna, and that he'd like isolated. So what I'll invite you to do next, if you want to kind of do this practice with me, is first, I would like you to think about a problem, something that's been like a problem in your life, something that's been bothering you, something you've been wanting to change, something you wish were different. Maybe there's some area of your life where there's been a feeling of lack or not enough, something that's been feeling stuck or caused any kind of emotional turmoil. I'll just give you a moment to think about a situation. And when you got something, I'll invite you to close your eyes as you think about that situation. And now just begin to notice the components of the data that makes up that experience. Because whatever situation you're thinking about right now, the first thing I'd like you to notice is that it's not happening. What's actually happening is you're sitting with your eyes closed and you're thinking about something. Everything you're experiencing is like data within your own mind. The situation is not going on around you. It's not anything that's happening in our environment here. You're looking at various bits of data in your own mind. Make sense? So notice whatever pictures come to mind as you think about that situation. Notice if there are any sounds. Notice any sensations in your body. Sometimes this might feel like a contraction, like maybe in your chest or your stomach, your throat, perhaps somewhere else. Or maybe a different kind of sensation. And notice any emotion that goes along with all of that. This sort of underlying energetic quality to this whole mental projections. So could you just notice all of those components? Notice what's appearing on the screen of your awareness as you think about that situation. Notice as well any like resistances within you towards any of that. Like any wanting to do anything with it or about it, any wanting to get away from it, any wanting to fight it, overcome it, or escape it, get away from it, avoid it, hide from it. Anything other than simply allowing all those things to just be there. And could you simply notice that as well? Like all of those thoughts and impulses about needing to do something about it, that's just another thought on the screen of your awareness. So could you just notice that as well? And could you just leave even that alone? And then you simply notice that you are not any of the objects on the screen of your awareness, but what you are is that which is aware. So then you can even notice any individual components For instance, notice if there are any sensations in your body. And then check. Are you that sensation? Or are you that which is aware of it? Are you the thought? Or are you that which is aware of the thought? And as you continue this kind of process, what happens is your mind starts shifting as you start to find your own center within awareness itself, rather than being attached and identified to the object of awareness. As you disassemble, deconstruct the lasagna, you at the same time sort of claim your independence from it. Because if there's any situation that's been troubling, usually it's because of this identification. We're so wrapped up in it. We feel like we need to do something about this, otherwise all hell's gonna break loose. Something's gonna go wrong, whatever. But when you're realizing, and you will realize through doing this process, that your mind's just been creating these like loops and creating these emotions, creating these thoughts based on something that's not happening. Your brain's been trying to get you to do something about something that isn't happening. And because nothing's happening, it keeps producing the same thoughts and emotions, and it just kind of keeps looping like that. So this is the process. This is what I do every single day. Sometimes might be just a few minutes. Many times it's like an hour. I will lay down in my bed for like an hour. And I will just process through all of my shit like this. I will find whatever kind of emotional tension, whatever's been going on that's been bothering me, and I just dive into those emotions and I disassemble it and I break it apart. Somehow through that process, all of that tension, all of those contractions start to dissolve. My nervous system relaxes. My creativity turns back on. And, you know, I feel much better. I feel much better. So that is the deconstructed lasagna technique. I'll also mention is if any of you are familiar with the Sedona method as taught by Hale Dwoskin, you'll recognize some kind of familiar language patterns and some of the things I just said. Hey, I got into Sedona method when I was like 21, and I don't know how I would have made it through the last 10 years of my life without having some of these tools at my disposal. And I'm mentioning this because when I first started, it was very, very difficult for me to sense these sensations or being able to distinguish between these things within myself. I was just so stuck in my head. I was just following these questions logically, and I was trying to like do it just in my head, and I couldn't feel crap in my body. Like I was so disconnected. And it took me quite a while before I started developing that inner awareness, that inner sensitivity to be able to take things apart like that. And it's just crazy, like over the last decade or so, how that sensitivity has evolved. So about 2 years ago, once I started doing this coaching thing full time, I started noticing, at first it was occasionally, but I would notice that sometimes I would know when something had cleared or shifted for the other person because I would feel it. And at first I wasn't sure what it was I was feeling, but as I got kind of more feedback on that, I realized that's what it was. And now that happens pretty much every time. And I'm so sensitive now to just energies in general. I don't just sense things within myself now, but I can feel shifts in somebody else's like vibrational field. I can feel the energy move. And I believe a lot of it comes down to this kind of practice that I've been doing for so long now, that I believe this, more than anything, if you consistently practice this kind of inner sensitivity, you will really unlock your own superpowers, and you'll be so much more effective in navigating through your day-to-day life. Cool. That's it. I hope that's useful. I hope that helps. Please practice it and come back to me and let me know how it goes. This is Linus from Manifest Momentum, and I will catch you next time.
What comes to mind when you ask me that isn't necessarily like daily practices or anything, although that can be helpful. But I would say the most basic thing is just having an understanding, a useful understanding of how your mind works, so that as you're going through daily life, when you experience thoughts you don't prefer, feelings you don't prefer, even behavior, like have you ever done something that you didn't intend to do but you did it anyway? Or have you ever not done something that you wanted to do, or did something that you didn't want to do, and so on, right? So when those things happen, it's kind of useful to understand what is happening in the brain, what's going on in the mind that's causing those things, because that understanding is what allows you then to shift it. But in addition to that, like meditation, huge, like just learning how to quiet your mind for even 5 minutes a day. Is huge. As Tom mentioned, like regulating your nervous system. Your nervous system is the root of all your health, both mental and emotional health. So it's like when your thoughts are spinning out of control, what's that? It's your nervous system. It's your mind that's perceiving some kind of threat. It's generating thoughts in order to get to safety. And it's stressing out your whole body, and like you can't, like if your nervous system is wired up and you're stressed, you can't think straight. Your brain doesn't work when there is sympathetic nervous system activity. So just learning how to chill the fuck out is huge. Yeah.
How would you do that?
Well, breath would be one. Meditation. As you know, I've been into the ice baths recently. I can get into that like super meditative space in like 3 minutes. It takes me like half an hour to do on my own, but the ice baths have been helping with that. Hypnosis. I can't do it. I wish I could do it to myself, but I can't. But I can do it to other people. So that would certainly be another way of getting there. You know. So there's things we can do with language and how you place your awareness that can activate that parasympathetic nervous system.